black stone, endless darkness, and a man walking out of hell. The tunnel was silent except for footsteps. Slow, careful, desperate. Ahead, a thin slice of light, the world of the living. Behind him, the underworld, a kingdom of ash and shadows, ruled by a god who had never shown mercy. And yet, tonight was different, because somewhere in the darkness behind him, a woman followed, barefoot, silent, dead. Her name was Eurydice. She had died hours earlier. A snake, one bite, one breath, then nothing. But somehow, impossibly, the god of the dead had agreed to let her go. No chains, no punishment, no price, just one rule. One tiny rule. Orpheus must walk to the surface. Eurydice would follow behind him, and he must never look back, not once, not even at the gates of sunlight, because if he did, she would vanish forever. And that's the strange part of this myth, because the story isn't really about death. It's about doubt, about a single moment when love met fear, and fear blinked first.
Unveil the legends.
Before the tragedy, there was music. Orpheus was not a warrior, not a king, not a hero carved in bronze. He was fragile, quiet, strange, but his music broke the laws of nature. When he played his lyre, rivers slowed, trees leaned closer, wild animals sat peacefully at his feet, even stones listened. People said the gods themselves had gifted him that sound. Maybe they had, but Orpheus had one problem. He loved too deeply. And then he met Eurydice, not a goddess, not royalty, just a woman with bright laughter and wind in her hair. She grounded him, silenced the chaos in his mind, and for a while the world felt gentle. They walked through forests where sunlight spilled like gold through the leaves. He played music beside quiet rivers. She listened with her eyes closed, smiling like the world had finally slowed down. The birds stayed longer when she was there. Even the wind seemed softer. When Orpheus played, the song was no longer lonely. It had a heartbeat. Now, hers. They married under open skies, flowers dancing, music. Villagers gathered around the celebration fire. Wine spilled. Laughter echoed through the hills. For once, the story felt safe. But peace in Greek myths is never permanent. Somewhere beyond the trees, something moved, watching, waiting. Because happiness in ancient stories is like a candle in the wind, beautiful, fragile, and always about to go out. It happened quickly, too quickly. Eurydice was walking through a meadow after the wedding. Sunlight, grass, bees, humming. Then footsteps behind her. A man had been watching her, Aristeus. A hunter. A man who wanted what wasn't his. He followed closer, closer. Eurydice ran through tall grass, over stones, heart racing. Then, a sharp sting. A snake hidden beneath the flowers. Its fangs pierced her ankle. The venom moved. Fast, her legs collapsed. The sky blurred, and the last thing she heard was the distant sound of Orpheus playing music somewhere far away. By the time he reached her, the warmth was already leaving her skin. Orpheus screamed, not in anger, in disbelief. Because musicians like Orpheus believe something dangerous. They believe beauty should protect them, that love should be enough, but the universe doesn't care about music or love or fairness. So Eurydice died and the underworld took her. But Orpheus refused to accept it. He didn't beg the gods. He didn't pray. He did something far more insane. He walked into hell. The entrance to the underworld was guarded, first by shadows, then by a monster. Cerberus, 3 heads, 3 sets of teeth. Creature built to devour souls. Orpheus didn't fight it. He played. The music floated through the cavern, and the beast lay down, all 3 heads, sleeping. Even the rivers of the underworld slowed when Orpheus passed. Shades of the dead gathered around him, crying, because they remembered what life sounded like. Finally, he reached the throne, Hades, king of the dead, cold, ancient, unmoved by human suffering. Beside him sat Persephone, queen of spring, and Orpheus played not a song of rage, not a song of bargaining, a song of loss. Every note carried grief. Every chord felt like a heartbeat, breaking, and something impossible happened. Hades listened. For the first time in eternity, the god of death felt pity. He agreed to release Eurydice, but with the rule, don't look back. And here's the dark theory historians love to debate. What if Hades already knew Orpheus would fail? Think about it. The god of the dead understands human nature better than anyone. Fear, doubt, anxiety. Orpheus couldn't hear Eurydice behind him. No footsteps, no voice, just silence. The deeper truth of the myth might be this: the test was never about obedience. It was about trust. And Hades knew humans struggle with that the most. The tunnel stretched upward, dark stone, cold air. Orpheus walked, step after step, closer to the surface, but something started creeping into his mind. What if Hades lied? What if Eurydice wasn't behind him at all? What if he had been tricked? The silence grew louder. His breathing quickened. The exit appeared, sunlight spilling across the ground. He stepped into it. And that's when doubt won. Just one glance, just a quick look. He turned, and there she was, Eurydice, pale, beautiful, alive again for one fragile moment. Their eyes met, and instantly her body dissolved. Like smoke and wind, she reached for him, but the darkness pulled her back, gone, this time forever. Orpheus fell to his knees, not because the gods were cruel, but because his own fear destroyed the miracle. He had defeated death, then lost to doubt. Orpheus never married again. Some legends say he wandered the earth playing songs so sad, even mountains wept. Others say he died violently, torn apart by followers of Dionysus. But the darkest detail comes after that. Even in death, his head kept singing, floating down a river, still calling Eurydice's name. And maybe that's why this myth refuses to die, because it asks a brutal question. How many miracles have humans destroyed, simply because they couldn't wait 5 more seconds? Tell me something. If you were Orpheus, walking out of the underworld, hearing nothing behind you, would you have looked back? Or would you trust the impossible? But if this story felt tragic, the next one is worse. Because there's another myth where the gods didn't just punish a man for doubt. They punished him for telling the truth. And that story ends with a punishment so horrifying, even the gods regretted it.